ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. Inshallah, on the Monday night, which is Islamic night, Islamically it's a Monday night, but we call it traditionally Sunday night. We are trying to keep this time to maybe learn and memorize the du'as of the Prophet ﷺ. As we know that the dua or supplication are of two types. Supplications which are, shara'i, and supplications which are left open for us to make any dua. First of all, when we want to make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we need to understand that the time and the language is open. We can make dua to Allah at any time with whatever is our need in any language. But the dua which is legislative, meaning something that the Prophet ﷺ taught, that dua, we cannot change it. Neither the timing, if the timing is mentioned, neither the amount of times it should be repeated, if it is mentioned, and the wordings. Exactly how it is, we have to keep it exactly how it is. Why? Because this is Sharia. If the Prophet ﷺ said, for example, when he started the prayer, he said, Allahu Akbar. We cannot add Bismillah Allahu Akbar. Although Bismillah Allahu Akbar is good. And the Prophet ﷺ sometimes used to say Bismillah Allahu Akbar too. But in the prayer, we cannot change. Or any other. For example, when we enter the bathroom, we are supposed to say what? Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-khubthi wal-khaba'ith. Now there is addition in some of the hadith which said Bismillah, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-khubthi wal-khaba'ith. This addition Bismillah is not authentic. Not authentic. So we do not say that. Somebody would say that what is wrong in it if we add something good, like Bismillah, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-khubthi wal-khaba'ith. The problem is you are not changing the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. And if all of this was open, then what is the point of the Prophet ﷺ teaching us a specific wording, right? The Prophet is sent with a certain mission, that is to clarify the religion. And clarification of the religion, dua is part of it. And also we know from the hadith of Bara ibn Azib radiallahu anhu, the hadith which is one of the hadith where the Prophet was teaching him a dua to say before going to bed. And the Prophet said in the dua, the wording was وَنَبِيِّكَ الَّذِي أَرْسَلْتَ. Okay? But Bara ibn Azib, he said وَرَسُولِكَ الَّذِي أَرْسَلْتَ. So now Nabi is a Rasul for sure. But the Prophet hit his chest and he said and corrected him. He said no, but say with the Nabi who has been sent, and the wording to correct him. So anyway, basically the point we understand is if the wording is clear from the Prophet ﷺ, then we have to keep it as the Prophet taught. Okay? So today inshallah we are going to see one of the very beautiful hadith, very, very beautiful dua, which is taught by one of the very important Sahabi. Okay? And this is the Sahabi who is known as Sa'd Ibn Abee Waqqas radiallahu anhu. Sa'd Ibn Abee Waqqas, his full name is Sa'd Ibn Malik Ibn Wuhayb Az-Zuhri, because he was from Banu Zuhra and he was from the tribe of the Prophet's mother. And as we know that Banu Zuhra is also from the tribe of the Quraysh. So he was Qurashi too, because the Prophet's mother and father both were Qurashi. Both were from Banu Quraysh. Anyway, this hadith is very important because of the way the hadith came. And Imam Bukhari reported this in many places in his Sahih. So from one of the narration we will read inshallah, and this is in the book of Dua. Bab at-ta'awudhi min al-bukhli. Al-bukhlu wal-bakhalu wahidun. Mithlu al-huzni wal-hazan. Okay? This is how the title of Imam Bukhari's this chapter. He says, قال حدثنا Imam Bukhari, حدثنا محمد بن المثنى قال حدثنا غندر قال حدثنا شعبة عن عبد الملك بن عمير عن مصعب بن سعد عن سعد بن أبي وقاص رضي الله عنه كان يأمر بهؤلاء الخمس ويحدثهن عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. He used to teach these 5 things, okay, and he used to mention the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ with regards to this, which is what? Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-bukhl wa a'udhu bika min al-jubn wa a'udhu bika an uradda ila ardhali al-umr wa a'udhu bika min fitnati ad-dunya wa a'udhu bika min عذاب القبر. These are the 5 things. Another narration in Bukhari, by the way, the translation, Allah, O Allah, this is the dua of the Prophet, O Allah, I seek refuge in you from bukhul. Bukhul is being miser. وَأَعُوذُ بِكَ مِنَ الْجُبْنِ, and I seek refuge in you from being a coward. وَأَعُوذُ بِكَ أَنْ أُرَدَّ إِلَىٰ أَرْذَلِ الْعُمُرِ, and I seek refuge in you from turning into a very senile age. Ardhal al-umr is basically an age where a person becomes almost like a child. Cannot do anything, cannot understand anything, and that is a very difficult situation. Not that, this person is a burden, a'udhu billah, it's not. But it is a difficult situation. Difficult for him and difficult for the ones who are around him to take care of him or her, right? And the Prophet used to seek refuge from this. Amazing. Okay, وَأَعُوذُ بِكَ مِنْ فِتْنَةِ الدُّنْيَا, and I seek refuge in you from the trials and the tribulations of this world, this worldly life. وَأَعُوذُ بِكَ مِنْ عَذَابِ الْقَبْرِ, and I seek refuge in you from the punishment of the grave. So first of all, bukhul, what is the meaning of bukhul? The ulama, they said bukhul is not just a person who is miser with money. There's a lot of different types of miserliness. A person who is miser, a person can be miser with money, a person could be miser with time. Like for example, you tell them, pray, so I don't have time. Come to the masjid, I don't have time. Memorize the Quran, I don't have time. Spend time to make the dhikr of Allah, I'm busy. Although he might be spending all of this time for many other crazy things, which is not going to bring him any benefit, and in fact will bring him harm. So this person is miser with regards to his time. Miser with regards to implementing the knowledge to practice. He doesn't want to do much. He listens, he hears, he likes the knowledge, but he doesn't practice. Miser with regards to making da'wah. He says, I know it, that's it. I don't care who knows, who doesn't know. Miser. So miserliness could be of many types. Okay, so it is just not the money. But yes, money is a very dangerous. A person who is miser with money could be miser with regards to spending for his family. Miser with regards to spending the money for the da'wah, for the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, many things. Okay. So when we say the bukhul, all sorts of bukhul, we want to be away from it and to be generous. So we can be generous in learning, generous in practicing, generous in giving da'wah, generous in spending money, generous in spending time with our family, generous in being, good to our our friends and our companions, etc. وَأَعُوذُ بِكَ مِنَ الْجُبْنِ. Jubun is cowardliness. Cowardliness could be of many types. A person is coward to speak the truth. A person who is coward to call to good. A person who is coward to, he calls to good. Whenever it comes to prohibition, he is shy. A person is coward to give da'wah. I feel shy to tell him Islam is the true religion. How many times people stay away from giving the da'wah because they are shy. This shyness is of no good. This is sometimes falls into the category of jubun. If I say, they're going to tag me. I remember one brother used to say, I don't want to be with any group. So how is it possible, brother? You don't want to be with any group? There is one group which follows the truth. You should be with that group. Regardless of who labels you what. It doesn't matter. People can call you extremist, people can call you Wahhabi, people can whatever. As long as you follow the truth and you follow, what's the problem? So this is kind of cowardice. Is good. Imam Bukhari, for very amazing reason, he put this dua in the book of jihad. You know why? Because turning away from the battlefield is one of the kaba'ir. Right? So Imam Bukhari, as if he's putting there to show that if you are in the battlefield, be careful, do not be a coward. And the one who can really make you shuja, the one who can really make you, brave. Yeah, bravery. The brave one is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the one who can really make you generous, nobody. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he put this affair to Allah. So you might be generous today, but you might turn a bakhil tomorrow. You might be very shuja today, speaking the truth, calling the people, but then after 2 years or 3 years, you might be one of the most coward person. Because Allah took away His nusra from you for a reason that you committed. So continuously, da'iman abadan, to make this kind of dua. Then he said, وَأَعُوذُ بِكَ أَنْ أُرَدَّ إِلَىٰ أَرْذَلِ الْأُمُرِ. We mentioned that. Very senile age. age where a person becomes almost like incapable to do anything, not even feeding himself. Now, if Allah Ta'ala tests somebody with this kind of situation, alhamdulillah. But to seek refuge from it is wonderful. And if Allah Ta'ala, creates an exit for us from this dunya in a graceful way, this is much better. But Allah knows best what is good for me, and Allah knows best what is good for you. And we will keep on making this dua, and whatever Allah decides is whatever we have to accept. وَأَعُوذُ بِكَ مِنْ فِتْنَةِ الدُّنْيَا. And I seek refuge you from the fitna, the trials and the tribulations and the tests and the adab, the punishments of this dunya. Okay, and one of the narration in Sahih Bukhari, this hadith comes with the saying, يَعْنِي فِتْنَةِ الدَّجَّالِ. It means fitnati dajjal. So some of the people might understand that this is what the Prophet said in this hadith, but actually it is not true. Because that explanation, ya'ni fitnati dajjal, fitnati dajjal is from one of the sub-narrators, Abdul Malik ibn Umayr. And Shoba, in one of the chain, one of the narrator of this hadith, he asked Abdul Malik ibn Umayr, who is one of the narrator, what is the meaning of fitnati dunya? He said, fitnati dajjal. Now we know that the Prophet ﷺ used to seek refuge from the trials and tribulations of Dajjal, from other hadith. But this hadith is only have fitnati dunya. And the ulama, they said that fitnati Dajjal is part of what? Fitnati dunya, right? Fitnati Dajjal is part of fitnati dunya. Okay, so this is what's called khas, and that is am, general. So when you say fitnati dunya, it covers the fitnati Dajjal. But we know the dua that we say at the end, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min adhabil qabr wa min adhabil وَمِنْ عَذَابِ جَهَنَّمَ وَمِنْ فِتْنَةِ الْمَحْيَا وَالْمَمَاتِ وَمِنْ شَرِّ فِتْنَةِ مَسِيحِ الدَّجَّالِ. So the dua is taught by the Prophet ﷺ, but this hadith doesn't have fitnati dajjal. This hadith has what? Fitnati dunya. And then وَأَعُوذُ بِكَ مِنْ عَذَابِ الْقَبْرِ. And this is the first station of the hereafter. If this station is good, Allah protects us from the adhab of the qabr. Inshallah ta'ala, the next stations would be, alhamdulillah, good too. Inshallah ta'ala. So this is how the Prophet ﷺ says this. In one of the chain, he says, Sa'd radiallahu anhu, Sa'd Ibn Abee Waqqas, he said, كان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يعلمنا هؤلاء الكلمات كما تعلم الكتابة. The Prophet used to teach these 5 things. He mentions the 5 things here. هؤلاء الكلمات, these words, like the way he used to teach the kitaba, yani the Quran. The Quran. Another narration, one of the very famous tabi'i, which is Amr ibn Maymun al-Awdi, he said that كان سعد يعلم بنيه هؤلاء الكلمات كما يعلم المعلم الغلمان الكتابة. He said that Sa'd Ibn Abee Waqqas used to teach his children like the way a muallim, a teacher, teaches the students the kitaba, writing or Quran in the kutab, in the school. This shows that the Sahaba, they basically practiced what the Prophet ﷺ taught them. These 5 things are very simple, but to practice it, something you will see how it is not so easy, unless you really pay attention, memorize it, and practice. You can say this dua while driving. Now, when to say this dua? When can we say this dua? Okay, one of the mashayikh saying anytime. And what about the others? Don't know?
I mean, you haven't specified the time. You haven't specified the time.
Excellent. He hasn't specified the time, which means what? The time is left open. So you keep it open. Now, if somebody comes and says that say this dua after every obligatory salat, is it going to be correct? Not going to be correct. Correct? So because some people, they say that if I...
After every first salat?
No, say it's after every salah, every first salah or whatever.
Technically, it could be
not. Okay, so yeah, you basically said the correct thing. So basically, we need to understand, as you say, it's correct, that these du'as are basically a prescription. When we go to the doctor gives us a prescription, right? He says, take it in the morning, in the evening. This is the dose. The Prophet is giving us a prescription of our disease. We are all affected with this. Fitna of the dunya. Who is not affected with fitna of the dunya? Tell me. Who is not affected with bukhul? Who is not affected with jubr? I'm sure all of us face this, more or less. Some are better, some are worse. Some days are better, some days are worse. Some seasons are better, some seasons are worse. And what is that coming in the qabr? Nobody knows, right? So everybody has this, right? The Prophet kept the prescription what? Open. If somebody restricts it now, this will be a problem. Huh? It will be a problem. You can say it at any time, driving, walking, cleaning, cooking, in the bathroom, while you're using the bathroom. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, the matter is left absolutely open, the way you want to do it. And most importantly, teach the children. These 5 things, exactly how the Prophet taught. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-bukhl, wa a'udhu bika min al-jubn, wa a'udhu bika min fitnati dunya, wa a'udhu bika an uradda ila ardhalil umr, wa a'udhu bika min fitnati dunya, wa a'udhu bika min adhabil qabr. Make sense, inshallah? Okay. Now, inshallah, we'll little bit talk about the Sahabi, Sa'd Ibn Abee Waqqas radiallahu anhu. Sa'd Ibn Abee Waqqas radiallahu anhu, he is first of all from Banu Zuhra, so his tribe is very honorable, and he's from if somebody is from the Qurashiyun, they're what actually? You can close your eyes, you can say they're from the children of Ibrahim alayhi salam and Ismail alayhi salam. Yeah. And Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam made dua, Ibrahim alayhi salam made dua, make from amongst my nation those who will be imam in the of the muttaqun, and this is the answer of the dua. Okay, Sa'd Ibn Abee Waqqas.
He's the uncle of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He's the uncle.
The Prophet, okay, the hadith which says that Sa'ad is Khali, has some problem in the chain of narration as far as I know, but I have not been able to check that. But of course he's Khal. He's from the maternal uncles because he's Banu Zuhra, from the tribe of the Prophet's mother, right? And also we know him from Sahih Bukhari, he said that I accepted Islam and I was one of the 3 for 7 days. For 7 days on the face of the earth, those who accepted Islam from the followers of the Prophet ﷺ, he was one of the first 3. As-sabiqun al-awwalun, one of the first and the foremost. One of the first and the foremost. And also another narration, he said, I was one of the first 7. You would see me, and we would fight with the Prophet ﷺ. And the only food we had was the leaves of the trees. So our droppings were like the droppings of the sheep. This is a sacrifice they did for, the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Also, Sa'd Ibn Abee Waqqas, there are many verses, not many, some of the verses of the Quran was revealed because of him. For example, in one of the very unique, he said that the Ansar, they invited him for a party, in their garden, and he went there and they had a roasted head of a camel and they had wine, and at that time wine was allowed. So they drank, and some people, they said the Ansar are the better, and he said the Muhajir, they are the better. So since they were drunk, one of the person, they took the head of the camel and hit his nose. So his nose was split, and they used to say that his nose was split. There was a sign on his nose. So he went and complained to the Prophet ﷺ, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the verse that innamal khamru wal maisiru wal ansabu rijzum min amali shaitan fajtanibu. So the final prohibition was revealed. As you know that the verses came for different reasons, but this was one of the reasons. Sa'd Ibn Abee Waqqas, and they're very beautiful narrations. We don't have time, alhamdulillah, but inshallah one day maybe we should spend time just to know about this great Sahabi. They say that he has many children, many sons and many daughters, and some of the sons and daughters were the ones who reported the hadith from him, and Mus'ab is the one who narrated this hadith from his father, which is Imam Bukhari reported in his Sahih. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the ability to memorize the words of the Prophet ﷺ and to practice it in our life. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik, shadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Jazakumullahu khairan.